Hello, this is Michael Butterfield. I'm going to go over the Java application I've been working on. I'm going to start, it uses a few things. It uses HTTP URL connection, Java collections, and JSON serialization. I'm going to start by talking about HTTP URL connection. So I have a main class that can select some other classes, or the user can select some other classes. And so IP, this uses HTTP URL connection. What it does is it has a string that the user inputs, and basically what it does is it gets the IP address of a website that the user wants to see. So it does this by using like get host address and inet address dot get by name, and it of course has like strings that I make. Like I make a local string URL2 is what I named it, so I didn't get it confused with the other strings that I made in this program. And so it pretty much outputs the IP address. So for example, if we run the application, press 2 to see the IP address of a website. You can do like google.com. And it will show you 216.58.217.14. And then also I have a class called ping. Now what it does is that it actually gets the response message, which I assume is like a ping. I mean, as far as like networking goes, I'm not sure how it works, but basically it checks to see if the website is up and running. So again, it takes a string that I make and that the user inputs on the next line, just like the IP.java class does. And then it uses HTTP URL connection, and it does check URL open connection, and then it gives me a get response message. So it basically says okay if the site is online. So you can see it if I run this in the console. What website do you want to check? I can do google.com again. We'll say the response is okay. So that means that it's online. And so for that should be it for HTTP URL connection. For Java collections, I have a class called collection.java. And so what this does is, the purpose of this is to show the user some examples that will work in case he's not getting it to work. Like for example, with HTTP URL connection, you have to put in the HTTP or else it won't work. So this is helpful so the user can see that you have to have that. And so it uses at least one of each. It uses tree and set and map and list. So I have a tree set, and that uses both tree and set. And I add to it Facebook and Yahoo. And I also add to it, this will not be shown. And I remove from it, this will not be shown. And so that is not shown. And then it just echoes my tree set. Or echo is PHP, I'm sorry. It does a system out print line of tree set. And then hash map, same thing. But it has 1 and 2, because hash map, it kind of maps it out. It kind of does more of like I guess kind of like a table. It's kind of more of like a 3-dimensional array instead of just a regular array of single values. It's more of like a 3-dimensional array. So it has like one example is mbutterfield.com, and another example, number 2, is google.com. And then when I do my linked list, I do the same thing. It's similar as tree set, but it's a different method. It's a linked list. And I do eBay and Amazon, and again, this will be removed, and I remove it because it can be removed just like the tree set. So I'll show you that that works. Welcome to Michael's URL tool 5 to see a list of example URLs that will work. So you can see I have, this one is the tree set. No, I'm sorry, the tree set is yeah, this one's the tree set, the top one. And then the hash map, that's the more of the three-dimensional or two-dimensional array. I'm not sure, I can't remember which one was which, 3 or 2, but the one with more than one value on each. And then I have my linked list, eBay and Amazon. And you can see that this will be removed, was removed on both cases. Another technology that I used in this application is JSON serialization. So this is my json.java file. And what it does is it serializes the IP address, the HTTP response, and the URL of the website. And it does this by using the same HTTP URL connection methods that I talked about, such as get response message, get host address, and then I just make my own string for the URL because the user puts that in. And then it uses a JSON object, or yeah, it uses JSON object to an object.put. I name it obj, like object, and then obj.put to put this information in JSON form. So I'll show you how this works. For to get the information in JSON format. So it serializes that for you and creates the JSON object, which is great. And then there's one that I forgot to talk about. This is more HTTP URL connection is source code. What this does is it gets the source code, at least the front-end source code of the website that the user inputs. So you can run it. And that's one. And then it shows it. That is the source code for google.com, the front end. I'm sure they have a crazy back end that I don't even, yeah, I bet that would be nuts to see the entire source code of Google. But this uses input stream reader and a buffer reader, and it gets a get input stream and in.readline. And with these methods, it is able to display. And URL connection, of course, I'm able to see the source code of the website. That is all for my application.